Assalamu alaikum Gambia, friends of the Gambia. Ngamobe kontong. Itol ani kontongol. B August 17, 2024. And on the time jang right now pretty much is almost quarter past 10 a.m. In the Gambia, mom. Amira quarter past 5. Wala sita. I believe ko molu be salitale milialon ko eka salolke. Wala kendi like nka time damandindi so that akana dung alansarokon. Been a topic of discussion wala more about the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. Yeah, thank you. Seni konate nge kontong namobe kontong juber lalu momo bejang, and I want this conversation to be very engaging. Ka jube momo la expertise mu mewmenti ila londo e fannandingol min dila regarding bankola maral kango puru nsa diamu nga jube mone akendi wo maral kango nyen kumayata na banko kang. Bidunde constitutional be kumakan. And on constitutional banku maral kendo nene buka sotonoje ning ayatara constitution kendo mantara lari. Jannum betala, I'll take this opportunity kamfang introduce Molia ka foyeko ntelemu ensa ABCC, United States of America. Jama kana janne to be very much engaged and involved in national discourse. And na bankola ni tamandir nyadunde nin sita njusubotan na banko kanko mantan na bankola kuol diamula me banko jela bulle to bulomi alonko a masilanta bake komin biya be bulusi famin kono woto banko dengo momo be daoda ete mari ñi ñanta ke la civic responsibility comme citizen na responsibility be ñami momo e rights ol lel soto bari hadama de on fana e ñanto le soto ila banko ka ñanta ka minke ila banko ñinka o banko ñinka mandula soto min manke Gambia dammade. Thank you Mr. Mane, Ibrahim Mane, ye kontong a baraka baki, you know. Gambia mun tolal tade ntol dum fana mol seke dinne wati nyaawo nyan tol ma balu mamalum falu anim baringol nin molu jamal be wulu ta Gambia banko le kono foye ne ete soto o Gambia banko nyin kono so o Gambia banko kan ete fana e dingol lel soto o dingol be dolle fana soto wala procreation oti ha ete in soto ndenga do soto o fana be dole soto la do fana be do soto la dunia la kuol be wala nyam. Thank you, Mr. Silla. Jahe Silla. Nye konto, abaraka baki. You know, so abelari wala nyam, abari B. Excuse me. Yo, kadum fo barole bello dunkan kan huo kono ba. No, Gambia. Okay. Jamal wote. Mama, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, wala, Mr. Konate. Ngo fo barol lafta dun nan kan huo kono dal because yalo Gambia bual sembo wata je back. While people are very much busy creating innovations and in kuodol ka invention olke ke bual be siareng musu bual be siareng. Doli bije ine wal ka bulo di nyola somanda tele bulo tente suto wal ka tile. Wolkatile na fo in America banko ka ye murung jandum fano bekela. Yeah. So B la fita constitutional diamol. Banku yaje ala tanyato anala ala peace and stability a dependa o maral kan sifa nyadi le be bulokon. Ando constitution ola kumaya nying ay munetandin tolla as a people is an instrument that embodied the rule for a nation. That's why it is a significant rule of a nation. So banku sarso lebelare niaje mbavola ko police ni muta e ka citation o di la ka foko you violate a certain law o luanying akatara laring constitution o nyina kon. So oto constitution o nying ma foko ay perfect kakek 100%. But o constitution o anyanta the will of the Gambian people, the vast majority of our people, anyanta wala mirror anyanta wala express la aya represent. Bari wati jama bije because of na politique kuolu ku jama ka don na maral kangol kono milia lonkoy manyanka donje. And ni wo keta ka ke tinyar bati because constitution o manke document miya lonko luo lung wala teng sa fo kari luluo kar lulu nga murunga kanga nga dada kuke kotenk. O kamala ni wo be dada la fere sifa bele nyanta ka nyining ka dundije miya lonko in the next 100 years mimbenala iya cool capture. Wala kenda dada nying amansone ya baki. And also a constitution set down standard and procedure that are necessary to live in peace for individuals belonging to various religious groups. Because Nabankolka, Ninko right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, backed by other rights, right to freedom of speech, movement, religion, association, and even whatever you want to practice there in that country. So akumayata bakele, puru, new rights will be, they would be captured in the constitution. Wale akende oftentimes kasi jama fundamental liberties and rights of citizens wolkake entrenched clauses all the constitution okol. Because wolmu nyanto leti miya lonko ala fangole wo dila hadamadinte wo busi no le bulu. So wale akende niye wo clauses all ma constitutional kono, it means ko bankol beji jala because it means ko ete marala mimbe banko nyinka eka kudole wulende mi alon ko citizen ol tella filal, you know. So entrenched clauses all wol mukuti mi alon ko it protects fundamental human rights. So wolu manyanka ma, you know. So again constitution onia jube ala kumaya be nyadi lem found bulo kono, because it sets out how the government will be chosen and who will have the authority and duty to decide things. So ning ayatara sembela kuo dammalem. Momo se lafino ba ontele sembo warateteo, ntele bella filaka keman sati. But we have rules. We have laws in our country. Mi alonko, we have to follow them. Ning ayatara nga legal batulol soto, nka mil reference wale mo the Constitution of the Republic. Bao, wo, nabe dadala, aka dadale, befai dada, ba ika safele, ya gazette, I almost 90 days soto, yena another 10 more days. So, niya hai maibina jela aka 100 days soto, ya naka futa dipite bunkon. O député ol fanal yene ye siya jube hadamadi nyanto be nyadile, bankola economy be nyadile, security be nyadile, the defense be nyadile, aning rights mi along kaka religion protect nyaming, anin the rights milka minority el fanal protect wol fanam bela nyantol be nyadile. Na trade agreement between our country and other countries wol be ka discourse nying constitutional kono. So wole akende. By no mistake, momo nata esumanga a constitution on yemma milia lonko, it is just trying to entrench one individual alone. Wo ibina jela bata dabe wole funtindi la bankokon. Because it is no brainer. Puruka si ka jube ko mo kilinda ma wola kangwelo bankokon at the detriment of 2 million plus people. That is so sick. That's sad. You know? And cool milbeka o kende wala mo, you know, nyindoku no baliati, la balia fangola, yemin karay la faham roman jamfa, and now because of that, mimbe nyato ete amuta ni wo botaje dali tete kenola fendi. Just low self-esteem. Na bankoka. But again, constitutional la kumaya bankokang, it defined the parameters of the government's control and informs us about people's right. But I mean, we have so many rights in our country. Right to life. Moja mala se obusi no mobile. Alale have mobe ulundi. Aye ulundi wato minna is determined by God. So right to life, liberty. Katara banko ka ye free ye cool ke miya lonko. You are not controlled or even dictated by anybody. And the pursuit of happiness. Mobe la fitaka lidi asoto. Iketa fuaro tiwo wala fankama. Wala akende mbebe nyendo kukolengwa lamba try kampuru. Abeta ta nata puru nga nidia kendo soto. Idan tolu wala ten dingol. So near other rights all jube. Right to life, freedom of speech, movement, association, religion, and all the other freedoms that comes. Wolu coming out for nyame, wolu buka ma. Those are entrenched clauses because wolu ala fangole wo nyanto dila. That belongs to the human dignity. You know? So we as a people, the difference of sort of nyao nya, nyanta kang hakilotu, maral kan sifa nyadile bentol marala. And make no mistake, nka minke bake wati jama mistake jama. Wala mnyenti nga mira ko mansa kilin na jamano wole bella banna. Near bad laws all dada bankoka. It means that those bad laws will come and haunt you. In fact, those bad laws may become to prosecute you tomorrow. Simply because biribeji ime hakilo tu akuol julkon. Na bankol. So this is why Gambians and friends of the Gambia, we need to be very careful. Under no circumstance, under no dispensation, we feel so comfortable in our comfort zone. Kahajube mansamimbe maralola na sembo diala so much that ko na nyinam fangol la samala. Anu niye sembe badi o mansalla. Angaleli ya fole ko power corrupts, absolute power corrupt, absolutely. Ni meta nyemman saya nyinna ite eka ke fanye ko fantolo mansaleti anu mo manyan kataran na banko ka miye ke fantolo mansati Gambia nol by now nyanta kasi nga karanda mandi bao nga jawra la wato jele Sa Dawda is a Democrat mi ala sitan na banko ka is he perfect? Probably not, because he overstayed in power, you know. But ay Gambia nol kono muta Domoro balunya soneata, you know, to the vast majority of Gambian people. Na yaja melawato jelemi alo anata through de facto form of sovereignty. Ka mansakunda sees kanaka seeing kang. Simply because I problem ol mil lande Gambian ol nyato at the time wala mnyentiko. Jawara mansakunda man tilingo sambananja. Emang accountable. Iye tinyari jamal lelke andung ya kendi leko economic forces ol milbe Gambia wolu le sembo warate tolti Nigerian contingents ol tende and so many other reasons ye millande moltema inata e kontoli ko we are soldiers with a difference accountability, transparency and probity ya ofonye. But at the end of the day Obe nata keke to the opposite. They entrench themselves onto power. They become more powerful than power itself. And then, ya beke nyo jamfati, ye nyo fa, ye dolu sorong, for sanje kononto. And military juntal problemo kakewo si fale jamfa bambalo. Beri bototo datita ka hadama dengol fango citizens solo e natan tol fango lel kam fa, can prosecute, can torture, can mol rape, ka kuja uba ke mol la bankoka. Manyang kanyina this pattern of leadership in our Gambia. Because it also inata like a Gambia dingol bonde fuaria jaw kolango kono anin tilimbali aminkake na bankoka mbari they themselves become the brutal butchers in our country. Yaje man saya dambalo akanyilla nati bankoka. Because nite mari bije ka mutala komin ko oto muite fa keta kundalet. Wala te mama nyol wolle li odula selote. Andum beri be Gambia dada la tarete mari ema wulu fam. Wala te mu moti mia lonko fang nobody expect that you can become even a hopeful. So in order to become a better citizen of our country, we have to have a timeline. Mia lonko we say goodbye to country. Modo fanena. Bankol katano nyato wole nyam. So again, coming benye mimfokang, a constitution of the republic, any republic, it prevents despotism. Because of despotism minkake, kami jamela man sakunda beru wol nate, ko ebe jawra e mimbeke, e ko nata ka wole bondinka. But they become a despot on us. They became untold suffering on us. Citizenal brutalized, can boote, can chorong, can torture, can fa. Simply because wol keta moti milia lonko ye power le nene. O power neno nyinga tambite kungolal saing itolia mote itolmu alandineti bankoka. So that's why we need to be very careful when it comes to constitutional matters in our country. Katuko again, a constitution help in separating and distributing power or authority among the institutions of the government. Neo moy dawda, wala mo separation of power and checks and balances. Molia feel leko. One single government or one single leader should not have all the powers vested on them. Because new worketa, aka kendeleko, the executive will become very, very much too powerful. Meomen diatai asake andun tanate kelatela. Wale akendi. While the executive is doing that, the legislature, which is the arm of government, milka lual dada, the legislature, and the judiciary, wala muna kiti bundalte, will fanaye kuol doluke, ka kuol adjudicate, ning ayatara, ndunta nyola, mang kanjuno, ngata kiti bundal nyato to the Supreme Court, wole siye lua interpreting nyaka jubeko, jamale bolota, jamale be bolorin, based on lua mimbe larin na constitution on yinkon. Make no mistake, anything less than that, woka abuse of office and authority lenati. Ando, ndesa, niya jube draft constitution of 2020, woye mimbe dada wolem nyentiko, nying checks and balance o bebe je, andung president wala power nyi ya talale, ka make soko, o president wanyi na sembo nying, a manyanka ke fantolo mansate Gambia dingolka. Because ni woketa, mbota min kono kununko, wole bina fa repeat la over and over and over again. Andun ndesa, like I said, in many deliberations here, kodo min dunta akuo kono, it's like 116 million. 116 million wose kujama do kuno na loptan olto. As a farmer soul but da handino kujamal. Bari hada madingula jawya saka Gambiano. Mi ya lonko nate ya feel ko abe palaso to na futata wo palaso to aka faratile so much so that ala ego and ala pride tenting ay ka muta komin ko ate mum hamada maden sifa dole ase falem falinyala mi alon ko ita kalam fam bulande non. So President Manyanka Sembo Soto way too powerful andong ala impunity mi alon ka kataraje ka ajube ko President Nyanta ka immunity Soto. No. As far as accountability and transparency is concerned, mune akende President will be like ko ifa ko etol Nyanta ka immunity Soto. What a president was a mo pop nole with a gun fente bola je na ninga tra bota man sayato. Wol sifal wol manyan keke kuti mi alon Nyanta ka nyosa bala wai kato konte nin latam fanna nko mbeku kendo le kekan Gambia dingole muna nambe sila la nimbota o banko nyinto. So there should not be any immunity. Mo e maral dula min ke Nyanta ke kontibonu walla ne aja alkiyama fango soto ta ngamera wala ndenno ninga tara mobe adjanale expect kataje mote doku kala sako isa sali nyim banko ka you know wala mu kontibobu mu nyinati barata minna alena ye jowola sonka muna sila wala ni abeke jene mesendingo te amora ebe kala nyaadi ebe kala loku mbalti jahannama konandi. For real, you do not expect anything less. So na leaders all we should not be manyanke muta coming wol mu alandinete. Walaten ke makoi puri yenake ke njala yirtin kang mfangol la bankoka. A beta ta nata nyinku jawo mimpeketa Gambia bankokon kabrin 1965 up to today. A be Gambia dingol lelie wo ku kurungol dunde nyaton kolto ka foy ko ibe molu fala tenne ibe molu butela tenne ni ma woke te respect la ni loi kurungo dada ibe bulala le wuri ni wuri tay be de la ni waten den sita adama de ngo minke mira tenga ka tamandir nyaake tende wo mu hadama den kurum balet katu ko wola mira lo mantara dulato mi along destruction of family, certain society and a country. Katuko, nyaton ka kendolu, wolu nyanta ke lamoy la citizenol la. Katon citizenol wolle lieke o palasod. Ye nyandi fanto. Ye manke fen na fent. Ye nyandi fanto yete sembo soto. Ye sanji tangota ye o maraloke. Dulato, eko hani bi imam pasi. Womu masilanku bati, womu greediness bati. And we are not saying this just because of Kominko is the presidency of Mr. Adama Barrow. At the time, Birabe Kela, Abentatela Maralolefe. But the Gambia is not Adama Barrow. The constitution of the Republic of the Gambia is not Adama Barrow. Because Molu be Nyantaka Minju be Nyinkokon. Whether you are NPP, UDP, or any political party member Gambia Bankoka, you should think outside the box and think beyond the boundary. This is not about Adama Barrow. It's for the greater good of the Gambia and how to sustain Gambia to be a beacon of democracy in the sub-Saharan Africa. It's as simple as that. But in Nimol Funtita, we challenge some of the things, Alonko. The vast majority of Gambian people will go 2 term, ilafita wala Bangkok. Nyuleta ye chapter 5, be bondije, Alonko, ay president wala sembo nyintala, ay atani president wala ko, ni nata inyantaka access declaration oke, nga lon jolle bebulu, ni be bola jefana nga lon jolle bebulu, ando imanyanka immune from prosecution, ning ayatare be lale fan. Nka corporation ol mil besoto na Bangkoka, where the tertiary institution wala big businesses, nibe contract ol sign na, wo check and balance ol mil baby, ye chapter 5 be bondage. What type of Gambia are we living? Fonyuli amira e kan mol bambonin tissue paper. Gambia dingol manke wo din sifalte whereby mo nyanta kana yem batandi wo sifa nyama kotenke wai. And like I said, they said, Abetata nata dajiko problemo, wole be Gambia Bankoka. Hadume bambalo, wole akende, they said. At the TRRC, farol mili beketa, nga muta komin ko ha yara fanyul mollel kanyinke miliyalon koy manke gambian bari mfamol la molu wollo liye mol kuma kuntu foy ka puti piti komin ko niesi se o fa aka kenyame gambia dingo le kanyinke andu o gambia dingo o ko ate mu muslimo det huh? So alinga mira, this is way bigger than Mr. Barrow. Because Barrow man ala dambe man ke gambiet. Nyantaka wale long. And momo ibe in National Assembly, just like many people have said their minds about how the constitution has become, this constitution doesn't represent the vast majority of Gambian people. Ntoloko. Ning ayatara bekela aitanin sidola. The 2020 draft constitution or constitutional review commission ye minke 2020 ye onati ya introduce aita parliament nin falindiri bekela je lawmaker soliesi ye wo falindiro tayake on our behalf. Atata through the right process la. But you corner somebody me alonko ye kus dia la ya mamande fa kunkeo ka podin o seta ay si ay ku kendo sa fe moli Gambia banko kan ka foko nyine ma la constitution because the Barrow draft constitution doesn't represent the will of the Gambian people. Dawda Jallow should be ashamed of himself and him molu miliyalon ko be involved because na be fisiala damandemva they should have involved the civil society organization, political parties, pour yeta si be la opinion also. But it's an instrument as important as the constitution. It a mo dantang and knucklehead ye kus nyoranga nga kono fa nya fanka meaning. Wobe mune do kulantoli. You know? Yes. Mr. Konate, abala sembo warta. Abala sembo warta. Gambia no le nyanta ka greed le bula. Nyanta ka along. Nko, nite mo kiawati ye Brahma Njai sotono. Ke jamal lel beje mil ni wol fanambe jewai. Ida maman ke kiwalti. So mo kana nyenjube this greed here and there woka kendele ko I am far Gambia Bangkoka. It's not nice. And it's not even funny. Gambia banko mo Gambia dingol lel tati. Niya muta ko Gambia nyantaka ke si sekundality. So anything hanin si sekunda dingo minke wo man yanka prosecute. That is a nonsense. Katu wo si sekunda dingol wol damma manke Gambia dingoti. You know? Itati site in the constitution obey editing to their own selfish interest. Not only anybody's interest, but a school dropout. Adam Barrow. Me along alaf. Oh, Gambia. You know? When did we get at this level? Ko more killing me along ko. More besa karandino about governance and in governance structure. Bari, Adam Barrow la do ko kam kake mente wala mnyente ko. To buy people out, to bribe people, to corrupt them. Ngajala that National Assembly member la. You know? And those are wrong. Good governance nyanta that's why this hypocritical body ECOWAS, they are just a liability in the sub-region. You know? They think they will sit there and dictate what happens in the Gambia. Saying that, it's a step in the right direction, we hope Gambia. This constitution is going no freaking where. Simply because it helps more Adam Barrow than the greater good of Gambian people. Is Adam Barrow Gambia? Hell no. Gambia dingol nyanta kala. Andung Gambia din kurungolu. Mu din kurungol meli along ko ibamal man songela. Ola nande san. Hadamadiya ni be futuola ya katabake ibe kela nyami. There are some people mili along ko they should know that they are a waste of sperm. Al haketunyi. Ha! Those people are waste of sperm. in the sense that Wolu, they should have been even grasses to be called a grass, or to be called a cow or a cat, than being an human being. Kanaka kujo balke society kam. Dolla Wulu man nafaso to fen. Wallahi. So constitution, again, it provides the basic for the government in a country, which is essential to making sure that everyone's interests and needs are addressed. Well, I can all the rights also, the inalienable rights, right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, will be in Bangkok. So, constitution o buka pick and choose ke. Constitution o buka ajeko kare munjawoleti. Nimba constitution o dadala nyantaka restriction o kejele. Pura enjawo nye restrict. Imalon that constitution na binala into effect. Maybe ila o jawo fangate. O tarlaja abete fangole tarlaje. Miya lonko itele ya dada. Anda bene itele fango ponisla. This is why we need to be very careful. Organizations have thrived successfully simply because ila organogram and ila policies and procedure ya melandi puruka jube to be the guiding principle ila institutional to wolfanan ya kendi wo organizational succeed. More like a government, mi alonko is a bigger entity. Minka nying organizational fanamfango be mara ni mang maral kan kendo ta ya landi wo bankoka fitina bambalo wale kana afundi. Because the citizens will be oppressed, they will rebel, and when they rebel, the peace and stability of a country would be seized. Malafiwala, let us go through the right channel. We have a legislature in our country. Mi alonka be sirinje 2020 draft constitution ala present to the legislature. The assembly, yes, see, let them debate on it. Falindir bekelaje, that is good for Gambian. Then near adopt, we can go for referendum. And by and large, near Jube, the sitting government itself will a 116 million spend. Ako, they want to leave a legacy in this country. But yara fang boy, God, oh boy. Model, they don't believe in anything. The pattern of lies in Adama Barrow has again surfaced to Gambian people. Nenga fali alkamuta kominko ha nene lembare Adama ye kumaf soto balol mem for Gambia Bangkoka niya haima tenting abe sango sola la adung fokonot. What's the need for that? Kudantan killing ke melia longo abe long last la abe longevity sotola abe beteala abe the vast majority of the people abe la lifestyle impact la. Bari yenye maima bayedo maima bangi ku kalantanke at the end of the day abe kala kulete miya longo you don't know where it is going to. Mr. Lamin Kamara, yeah, I could dimintale. Komin bi nsetaranyeng alhala sifato ngaje molu people like Fabaka Tomboronkulo Jata and Ning Sidin Jai Milia Lonko by today will nyanta tarla 2x4 cell kono etara sorande because these are the people Milia Lonko treto lamoiti they want to subvert the will of the Gambian people. Eko Adama te kalinde la jam parendesan jamfa mambetea. Gambia under Adama Barrow is caused. Gambia be dankarine Adama Barrow kot. Dankole Gambia muta. Anin Gambia la mansa kunda under Adama Barrow. Dankole bala nyine akendi abuka makato baino. Ibe makato baino la nyari. Eko ni mankati. Ima wo kati ya baino. So mankati ya nying ika wole bay wole makati bayoti imankati so ni mankati buka makato bayno wala ne ko makati bayo mankati bayo ika ibe wole keka adama na mansa kundama makato bay because he mankati at the end of the day ning ayatare site fangoliye fanjube. What they are doing to the Gambian people is wrong. It is a sin against nature. ka jube kon nyanta katara nyen situation kon where constitution on nyembi mbenko di la nu wolale we are thinking about some progressive things mi ala nyanta ka kenon na bankoka while Senegal is doing something launching a satellite to the moon to the space Gambia be sire mbenyo nenna doron mbenyo banenna mbenyo denigrate la mbenyo horomanta yala mbe kuma jawol fola nyoye fanyanta ka kewole nyam momo e toñaje woya kodi toñala yet still salawati lulo abukadam akate muslimod but kafir jikole bela the vast majority of people in the Gambia 97.4% ekoimo muslimodi but on the contrary kafir jikobe mo jama bala Gambia bankoka because these are people millialonko Islam dunke dingol la mo nyelti ñun la le ñin ku jawo ñi miral jawo dunde Adama Baroto Gambia dingol kom la fita ñine kenna banko kan e tol ko hani say Adama Baroto almalong na sita alaw sil la faño ci kanda boy nam banko at the end of the day God will intervene between us imari as an individual, and this goes not only Adama Barrow. Hadamadi ka balu haramu le ka balu ku jawola banko kan. At the end of the day, lunkilin ne kasi alake kitende. Ebe silale ite wulla suba wala te uframanda wala wuraro ite wulnola. Wala ten kuranjaw babe boyle ka miya lonko because of the bad things you are doing in society. Because nyemu Gambia toroleti. 116 million. Oye ku jama ke fama solye. Na loptan olto ni tata je woy se bade ko na bankol kam. That is in the hand. That is on the blood is on Adama Barrow's hand. The blood is on Amadou Samate's hand. And so many people who are involved in the healthcare sector. But as long as Mr. Adama Barrow will lead it for that country, everything, all the successes and failure entirely rest in his hand. Bari, yenna fikia bambaloje. Ning ayatara kuol mim beteata. Ngada nganyine kejang. Nganyine kejang. Bari nama betea, they don't want to take a responsibility. Womuku jawaleti. This is why chapter 5 from the CRC and so many other chapters say, itatale ya be doctor. Ya be tinya kominko. Buse oka subot kuntun nyami. Gambia dengol. This is an insult to our conscience. Ka atandi kontol manke fenna fangt. You know? Why? Adama man sembo jama soto ntolla banko kan katambin tolte why? Adama manke mote miya lonko. Ala fahamuro siyata katambi mo bela. Gambia nakaranale. Gambia mo le milia lonko itole karonle ke fahamuro keda. Ye mo dantan kumandi ko itasi at the corner. Ye kodi ba di le ya dundi la account olte ko nyin data ya dada. Bawo itamu attorney general leti. O bawo itamu chief justice leti. Ni sita ya fenke nyaaw Gambia di ngol besonnal. Bullshit. Manson B, Manson Sama. This is an insult to Gambians. And Gambia dingol albuka sulo seletoje fonabe jika. Nyimanyanka ke pati kuti. Nyinyantaka ke a collective entity leti. Everybody revolt against this government. Ka atandeko. Ntolubama manke imam buru. Manke buru dingolti. Ando imam bambu ni mbora julo la sako tisu paper. Yalong in my balagaba jahumpa voice. Ananyi, then you settle land up left, right, and center. Then fogna jan you bought a newspaper. Gambia dingoli me bambu ni tisu paper la wo. Adama Barrow nyantaka wole long. Nko, kununko bajang Adama Barrow manke fenna fenti. Fuare ba ali mboyolon mboyo watu akake Gambia aka fungula komine femu odendengol me katara santo kon ika fungula niye jube ka fofo laso la mosi balola ikono batol Ida be ja e karakaratending fo akamunta ko risa. We have all lived this. Mbenga whole life kale. Adama Barrow was that for us. He was never wealthy. Gambia dingol lea fisamante and dafai. So be man love iman Gambian ol jo fenna for jamfa, tinkolea, greediness, aning ka Gambian ol subjugate. Gambians are better than that. Ibrahim Fofana nge kontong abarka bak. Thank you very much. Gambia kuwa mi manya foite mu religious leader letiwo. Ibe Christian denomination nebo. Gambia nkola alla keno fele lare. Nyinne mu fitinoti. Yalon ka sile na platform jamato ka falie ko. Fitino manke ko mbetalla sirine bomol be fayla wala mbetalla sirine murubal be tale mbe nyokungo kontola. Fitino mu muneti ka inyala tonyakan nin tonyabe keka. Yenda karibachi ke ya la tonyakan. Allah kenofe mimbarol to nyellel nyanta ka diamuji. Draft constitution wole ka bankolu sambano ay ke banku kendoti. But in Iman constitution kendo soto, how would you be able to stop a driver on the road? Ya saiti kaiko ha yenyi lua kareti nya abafole ko lua nyinga be muntole abafola na maral kamole afo bankola maral kam. So wato nimbe nyim maral kamol dadala. Alingang hakilotu. Alin seng hakilotu ka jubeko a maral kamo should not be sise kunda, baro kunda, wala tenture kunda. O nyin kundalu nyanta ka wol bonding na public service le as much as well as na draft constitutional con. Because nyulu it olka ke maral count de milia lonko it served the longest test of time. Asa atara ko ay dada ay 100 years represent atara 100 years o man sifol. O 100 years of nte anite wanani modo ya lonko maybe just maybe mo jamate o baluno la fam. La fita ka kele ko all inclusive, right? But mona na be kela mo kilinda mala kwoti. Are we not better than this? The NPP National Assembly members should even be ashamed of themselves. Because what 2020 draft constitution bera nata wallali afai at the National Assembly. Ijututa Gambia dingolla, ijututa Gambia fuar dingolla, iko ifaye ko sanyeng altol alla balunya amantol hati. Ntolulla fita minna wala Adama Barrow e sinyim banko kan ay ke monakiti. Ya jameye suma minna. Ko alafta ke kinnet. Ibe a clueless president dada kan bulu wala nyam puru ay ke nye dictator. Fitino lebe Gambia Bankoka. And fitino nying a meta Gambia Bankoka ne kabrin 2016. Katung Adam Barrow. Pere ya jamme mamanta wala fito denting ate bori perikit. A funtita Gambia Bankoka. Ate tata Gambia dingol wuntolel sita jang. Nko, yaya jamme would kill all of us. But Adam Barrow abulote wo mala. Because Adam Barrow Gambia dingol leliate select. Hate him or you like him, at the end of the day, I tell a ganyita. And the wala nyantakake. You know? So, Adam Barrow na, I am metamorphosis up to this level. I came molu bolu baran sangote. Iyama ayeso. Ayema ayeso. Korikaira. Again, constitutional bunya nala horomo, it determines how laws are made and details the process by which the government rules. Mansakunda ikasile, lua lelbelarin, sarsa o sarsa, government agencies and their line ministry, nyin lualbe, wala tamandirinya, abebe nyin constitutional economy. ka tandiko ning gamtellem gamtel nyanta ka maralo keten ala board of director nyanta ka keten ala term of office nyanta ka keten ninten wolu bebe nying constitution on lel kon bare ni te ko nyako president o nying Adam Barrow ala 10 years o manyanka count maybe ala second 10 years o le nyanta ka dati walla ite are you in your mother's can you imagine you know womu Gambia nengoleti womu Gambia dingol nengoleti ka jutu Gambia dingol la ka tandiko a liability like Adama Barrow way continue ka mol mara again and again fuaro mimbe bataring in Nyamanar in Fatoto in Kombo Farba Banta nte bota dane fuaro jolle be Kombo Farba Banta kabrin 2016 beri wol nying Adama Barrow dat ete fuaro mimbe Kombo Farba Banta foibe woyinka kundale ba foibe jola kundale ba foibe bajonko le to bang foibe kaya ringol to bang foibe sate bala ko kono bang wala ten foibe Kombo Farba Banta mano kanne ite la balunya atata nyato le bang wala tenga nasita la seita koma ni fanyinin kano nyinna ya jube la depanso ite ika balunya de le lunga dol ka sotole naku doku wolem fara doku wo kunkuto doku bi wo kunkuto doku hani ni ba kan maybe la kunkuto doku anyanta ka improve le you have tools mi ya lonko ibe mako ile ka kunko doku wala ya ke mechanized agriculture dina yetara dabanin sabo la kabiri wo wato hani bi dabanin sabo mama nyolu ye dabanin saba i mama yena i mumu yena i ba mali na i fa mali bari i dingolu ite fango yena i dingoli ye kontine katara o dabanin sabo bul why woman can live in Kendati why Gambia banko kan we have to change the system ka jubeko ite fa manyoli ye minke ite te wo kenola by virtue of technology, experience, and also innovation. Nyulle liye banku kendol samba. Barite fuari ba dinga. Mimbe sirin Kombo Farba Banta. Ibe fuari haring. Hani kota mburu fango ibuka sotono. At the end of the day, ite na si, iko ibe blind support lekala. Ka jube ko just because of self-hate. Ime fan kanu, fan kongo, ime dingol kanu, yanela dambelu. Iko ibe lala mansaka minke nungo muta, purika na nigino. Why? Yimbalu nyaka wakuyata. Yimbalu nyaka wakuyata. Wala hatina hadamadem kondiro is very real. It's very real. Milia lonko ibuka lala emakela follow. Emakela. So constitutional manyan can take care of only me. Just me alone. No. A constitution to be diversified, equity, inclusion. Anyantaka mo belema. Amanyanka afoko ha ite bota basele. Ite bota Kombo Farba Banta. Wala ite mujolanti ha nyindo mufulolti. So therefore, to represent like in the constitution. No. A constitution is an all-inclusive document. But ala all-inclusivity, niye wo bondi jedorong, akake toilet paper let. Wala akende as we speak, ye fengol mili bondi, nying constitution okona as we speak right now, waya akende jufita ramolti. Ha. And no na futata National Assembly, anyantaka ke jufita ramolti. Ha. Amang Gambia dingol makoy. Ebe tajirante yalla, ebe fitina bondola, andum fitino dum man better. And ECOWAS being another liability, milia lonko, they perpetuate one president upon another, and another, and another. Until ya je momi ya lonko itolbeje, na futate fangola, yene fam perpetuate. Wala kendi sub-regional man tembeno. Na sub-regional man tembeno hane sign. And at a tembenola, kato nin nakaro, wo lafitaka Jamal Mara, akatinyaro leke. Ha! We will not allow it. Again, the constitutional kumaya le fokan, it protects the rights of the people inside the country and it explains their obligations. Bankudi wo bankudi ye nyanto le soto la bankoka. Ila o bankokan, ila o nyanto, anyanta katara le horomo kono, anim bunya kono, anim bankola sarato. Wale akenne ni ye muta kula, ye muta sunyarola, ye muta jenola, wale ye muta fenwo fenna. Eka constitutional site or citation on him, eka based on the constitution neka deko, ye muta nyinela, whether ye jeno ke in a public place because nga lonneko jeno man better in the natural course of justice. But niya ke open place fananto, eba jela ko public disturbance ye woleke, ye nudity leke. So wo kama wo fanal fanam fang be katara constitutional lakon. But ku dantan ni tate ye wol bondiji just because he ko be mo dantan ne fasala pour wo e continue just ite fanan na selfish interest anata la selfish interest wo ka fitino le nati aka kendile wo ku betol mil bebe wo constitution okono wol bebu kana na fasato. Fellow Gambians and friends of the Gambia, nyanta kan hakiloto nga political bonding in kuokon to nya like I said in so many times ateka diminne andun to nya fo nya manyan kasumu ya handa manding nyanta ka wulendele ko jahannama dimba kato nyimmolu mimbeje ala jawol lamu annabi jawol lamu e me fankano e man banko kano ni e banko kano ni late fanna e lata ko ite dingo min soto can become even a president of that country. Why succumb to making a bad law like this? When the Gambian people spend 116 million. Pulka consultation o nafale ila legacy le. Huh? Islam dunke molu, Christian Council, especially, when have you last seen the Imam Ratib coming out? Because you see, these are things Milia Lonko, we know ko. Adam Barrow manke mote Mia Lonko mo nene nyantaka fasa. Jamfan tungolemu, fisiru walelemu, andu mole Mia Lonko ay banko be dunyoto. Momu man believe nyina, ite mari you are living in a dreamland. Ngajele ye the FGM ngamere obe fenka. So wale akende altol dina dunke molu. Milia lonko alko. Ye alla dino la kuole fa. Albe nyantaka rally behind other opposition forces. Ka. Adam Barrow Bondi into power. Nobody should sit by. Inila warambabalu. Ikakodi bal dile ka adundi je kwe feka. Akurano kotenga ten ibuka mansa soso. It's not right. Ni believe ta. Kila la sunno la. Ite ko woi believe ta wal. Adama wala fa. So ninkarre fa yo sita. Ya altolu ustasol be ala la mol kumandi. Mo jamal la kala altol. Mo jamal la kala moyal. Let us all vote against Adam Barrow because Adam Barrow mu baran sangolete sign. Bari na meta abekela bantan sungolete. Bantan sumo fananka aka nganingol sota balad. Jannaka futa oto nga turo bonde. Ha. It's about time Adamaya Lonko he should park and say goodbye. Adama manke keti Gambia banko ka wai. Nyemukule te miya lonka mambetea. Mo dantan yete ye si fansundula to e koi kata constitution ote ya befaling. Ka Gambia nol batandi kote. What is that? Ite mari la Gambia diliale. Ila te fanna le bang. Ite mumu mosi faleti. Ite manjiki dingo fangola sakoy barin dingo. Wale manjiki mole la kabilo kono kome wo mwari se keke no fentije. Well, Mr. Sajo, Danso Sajo, Barrow should be blamed for everything and anything that happened in that country. Abekita la maral nyala koto. Ando Gambia dengo be nyanta kasi nga jube ko tonya cool mimbe kiri abata sembo wata fo bata be larin tol dam malaka abe larin mo bere kam because Barrow is not for anything but Barrow and his family alone. That is how selfish Mr. Adama Barrow is. He's very selfish. Very, very selfish. Mo Jamal Lale Barrow long way before Abinakela president. That's why it is a colossal mistake. And we need to apologize to Gambians, and several other people have done it, including myself. Milia Lonko, we converse so much for Adama Barrow. Not because I tell Nyata Gambia Beti, no. Just because we want to remove a dictator from our country. Because the dictator has caused an untold suffering in our country. Wala kendinga Adam bondinga nati puru to change the country, to do security sector reform, civil service reform, and then to remove all bad laws in the 1997 Constitution. But a security sector reform manke, civil service reform manke, no reform in any government public sectors and line ministries. TRRC la reportol a fata. Jane Commission na reporto a fata. And again, several other commissions, including this local government election, a fanambe falale dak. Because Gambia nakarole beji. Because even in local government election o mimbekere. I see a problem in one significant part. I will deviate just a little bit. Walam nyintiko was collectoming me alonko I could have to a large sum of money me along my account no. Yeah, by doko. I understand. I sunyaro leke andu nyantaka baile, yes. Bari for sunyaro datita yen collector labang. Mune a kendi mang the pattern mawo no manga dati kabirin jane commission billions and billions of sunya. Be walla ning Adama Barrow be doko. Gambia ni kuya woka kendi mo jamaka fa. Many people die in the Gambia. It's just because of Nikuya Kolam. And in Congo. So, Jane Commission mole billion ol sunya e me by do kuola. Ndesan, poor collector. Woe kodo sunya mark account no. Ekoya by do kuola. We put in the cart before the horse. Meaning ko, adatita daming, ma wol maril punish. Bari futata nyendulandoto just because of that person is a poor farmer. Me along a man sembosoto. Sanying, nkombe silanka wole punish. Whereas Senabu Martin, how many millions I wole embezzle in Kanifing Municipal Council? Kaira tinyanta ela. So nyimbanko kan, ni mu fuaroti, ni mu dobati, itele batata Gambia bekono katambi mobeti. Wotete doba, mimbe sirin kombo farbabanta, mimbe fatoto, itebe nyamanar, ibe jambur, ibe daoda, ite nyantaka siko, ida male be sirin je kilon de ma. To make no mistake. Mewo menna nata, ibe le crucify la, ye burbalo be kuntun de, ye dadaning, ye ke hambogati. Or they throw you under the bus. But the top 1% molu, milialum fankamal lemu, we be governor lemu, CEO lemu, director lemu, president na associate lemu, wolse lua be bastardize na bankoka, bari tanabuka kewal. Fanyintem fitinoti. Nyulumu fitina balti na bankoka. Nyulumu fitina baleti. I know ko, sunyaro mote sunyaro justify la, bari sunyaro la pattern. Anala trending adatita dame ka wala follow address yena labang ye futa dame, but you don't put the card before the horse. So I see a pattern in this, and I am very much not okay about it. Just like nga mati jobata la kuo ming expose nu birin day jobata la kuo ket amandi amala for birin kudol ketabe diamu kangala in a padium scandal. So nyanta ka minke nin ku jawo keta ku jawo la root cause nyinga datita dami nyanta ka wala kunku binde folo. Anata laba milla ninga wolf punish adatita dami anata dandami den ngana wolf fanam punish. Then that is equity of justice. Bari Yo dol bulaje million ko ye billion ol sunya. Poor collector. Because maybe, just maybe, that person is from Brikama Area Council. Just because of the anger that you have for the mayor of Brikama Area Council, Yankuba Daba. Probably, just probably, I'm not saying wale akende ye wo bay. But probably about all regional letter. As a kind of anger, you acted beyond that. Put your more nyimpai simply because I sunyaro. And yes, don't get me wrong. I totally agree. Sunyaro hanye bututo le sunyaje nyantake account. But it has to be equitable. It has to be judicious. It has to be, parallel. Me along kwa dati ta daminto ye will follow dati. Ye kunkubinde je nyamobe farfar foni nata ifutata dami ye na wo fanama ni oma at least more to complain. I would not be making this statement here. So poor people of the Gambia, fellow Gambians and friends of the Gambia, ñun la mu kuwote milia lon kon tolko ñun lal manyanka ken na society kon ni be tamandiro kele kam be kanyandel bari ite mariye si selective justice momo diate ye wolma president la barinde njaga sane aning the other guy ye molu kidnap la ye samba ye sorong majum enterprise dulalto wol nene man hani security yake sako seke officiality kaira ye ti nyanga ye la simply because president barinde ngol le wol. What type of country is that? Fonyintem fitinot. Fonyintem fitinoti na Bangkoka mba. Fonyina mu tilingoti na Bangkoka. Momodu Jonga, 33 million as of now. Womu kudantanete, womu munati. Womu noxle fangoti, dati role woti. 33 million ama wo account no. Muna nema wo fanambay. So nimbe maraloke la alinga maraloke. Just for the greater good of our country, ka jubeko, nte monya kono jubela. In as long as you are in contravention of the rule of law and in the constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, near violate dorong, you should sink. You should sink not only to the bottom, but to the way bottom deck. Inyantakafuta world. Under the dispensation of justice. Wole akendi. Maral Kamonying, Memen discourse kanja is very pertinent in our democratization process. And nung aka peace and tranquility aka wale bambandin na Bangkok. Because make no mistake, the same constitution defined the institution of the country. What their powers are and how they may use their powers. Ne Gamtel soto, ne GRA soto. Ye nawek soto, ye custom soto, wolbe tamala nyaming. Yin constitution oleka wolfanam fang be define. Bari, ite mari lafita to have excesses of power. Andung, e lafita lako, ye na manseyato, eko mole sanje saba, e mango sanje sabo nyin lahido nyin timande. Sanje lulo nata e mannawo timande. Anata for science sanje tangi kawole bindi. Hani bi eko ekonoma mfa mindola de. Ekonoma mfa follow. O sanje tango kola ete lafita wolel after that woleton nyanta kana term limito dundin na constitution okon. Fellow Gambians and friends of the Gambia. For barole damamo kiawati ndola Gambia banko kamba. Mumo sifa lel benna Bangkoka milia lonko eka la nyentelembalia sifal kan kato nyentelembalia wolle ye bankol do nyoto fodum la fitan tolla little Gambia ay du nyin fitina sifale kono bang Gambia deserve better. Gambia should be way more than Dubai. Nin Gambia mol kasi ka afoko anyanta kake Singapore ti like ya jame said. Baroina anyanta kake Dubai. Gambia should be way more than Dubai because of the population size and in the proximity of our country. It is so small that ko ning ayatara nganyalo corruption o kan konga corruption o kele nganyalo doku o kan from each according to your ability to each according to what you earn ye limitation or sotola. Gambia be developed la way more than Dubai. Even ajala molbe bola nan tuba du kana si Gambia kana doku la ji. Adoya batala. Gambia is as small as the size of Rhode Island jam. Very small. Bari ni keta mote mi alonko tonya fasala le muiteti in society. Just like lawyer Dabo Benyami. Mola muite mi alo lua bunya la le muite. Just like lawyer Dabo Benyami. Mola mi alonko iko ibe corruption ole kele la banko kan. Ha? Fitina ba fela wultete kan. Because bualu miliben na banko kan. Suluolu duolu. Aning nyindiri mabalu wol beba katala ye korte sifa be nyori kan because ito le balu nya be nyadile ibuka balu no ni me balu ning haramo la aning ku jawo lo ya dabola crime momenti dolong nyimbanko ka wolamu ala tonya fo ala respect for the rule of law aning and zeal and charisma to clamp down on corruption in our country. And also being a leader of an opposition party. For all being annual mail for opposition party, wo fanana leader, wo manke Gambia noti bang. Ise Kenya o nyangami anga rights or la definition o le fali janko. Any individual under the surface of the Gambia should have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, because those are inalienable rights. Wolmu menti itewo bondi no le bulu because ila hadamadiya, ila dignity, and it will natale. Fo ila mari, ila mulunjaw ya o meke no hadamadi motiba. Ise mulunjaw ya nyao nyako tungo, but you still remain as dignified as a human being. Because that is a right given to you by God. At the end of the day, wale can the constitutional significant, wale can the constitutional kumaya diamu kangalie. Ka tandiko, nimma betema nyin soto na jawyata, puro jawma nyin ka bondi akakolea bakele. What? We've gotten it so many times very wrong. Why not this time around? Me along to the 2020 draft constitution, we could have gotten it right because it has represented a vast majority of Gambian people will beje. Make no mistake, Moli Ajube because of some little technicality, term limit or retroactive clause ko baronya ntaka sanji tanneke ay boje eko ha barola sanji tangonyen o manta kontila wala la sanji lulo te kontila follow. It's not talking about that because Nico Alassane Lulo Tekontila, who was President Kabir in 2016, 17 Canaan signed. Jamalan President, in the term of office, Mumunati, you occupied that presidency within a time frame up to a certain time frame. Wallen presidency nyent. You know? As far as I know, Kabir in 2016-17, Barrow started to become the president. So if you are telling Gambians, Barrow, Womukoliason, Watoleti, anyo wulu buke ya mansoto. Anyo wulu ya, anyo nafiki ya mansoto Gambia Bankoka. Ntede mbuka nda karala de, nka afole, because wulu ya mantambi wala. Jamfa mantambi wala. Na Bankoka. As far as we know, for Barrow Barindengolem President of Kabir in 2017 up to 2021. Namera Barolem President je, whether coalition or nati, walatenga ma nati, that is the same thing. That's why we need to know law as versus coming ko mfawon la individual miral kuo. Wana luwa na atatenti molbe yinye fansindi be diamula lawyer dabo nyine ke bare biring ndesa. Mujamaya tonye mo jama boyta kan ye ku jawbal be fama at the end of the day birana tay ku be senen mo jolle foroyata ye saferoke e ko loya Ousainou Darboe ha e se haketu nyede katu ko nsitale nga yire bulo moya kota par janaya kasfo dorong nte ko burugat nkolo ya dabo teng akoteng ndunta ala kasida hane bi mam moje de miyake ka funde ka apologize andu mo kendo mo jamalati wala mote miyalon ko nie tonyero ke yela ego anila pride anila arrogance ya be swalo yene ye bolo se roke ita mo kendot mo min be fi samanteata mol huh? But at the end of the day molu ye kenye mo hadamaden be yangol tin na society kon wala mo itol kunkilin na kilingo damma itol be neman dingol mil kono aning ibe nafan dingol min kono itara on nafal kono ye continue ka Gambia dingol kunami ka wuliya babun tange kan believe ndiko ko min be kerim banko ka wala be betiare wala be kanano la jahannama dimbala nyaadile wo molu be ibe kanala jahannama dimbala nyaadile anen nyen dunia la masibo fango because bi ala wo buka mendi ye masibo ke somanda jannu wuraro be jay kudo dadaylay wala na tragedy upon tragedy siatan na bankoka katum mol buka baluy tarola mo jama ben na bankoka 97.4% e koy mu islam dunke molde bari annabi jawo dunke mollal siyatan na molla wala akendi na bankobe tarde din wala akendi hani nin nata nkombe documents sol talambe dadala miya lonko it will take the test of time pour na banko molla generational melma wolo follow pour I will serve in the next 100 years na clouded judgment and in na partisan politics always come into play and in na self-centeredness aya dadunje just because of ntolmu o hadamaden sifale malam fanna low self-esteem londo beje bara dasata a mankita ite marika muta coming ko imam meke fang soto fellow Gambians and friends of the Gambia nyulle mukute miya lonko anyanta mobe tale mari yafo ha nyulle nyanta kafo andon constitution o minka diamu wala mu fenti it upholds human rights and democratic values. Is it democracy fang mo etara sirinje more than 10 years nko o mari dunko wala ko kunun ko ba maralo aw man bete na bankoka ya jamme ka mollel fa ya jamme ka molle bute aka mollel sene aka mollel jene ay na rule of law be bastardized na bankoka the same man yena instead of ka ya jamme la o kukurungol ta ke farafara e bondije Omari is now walking, is using as the playbook of Yaya Jammeh. Who is better than who? Is it Barrow or Yaya Jammeh? It is a calamity. Puru being a seeing ka Barrow fangoning Yaya Jammeh. Misal, ninga manke makate bayoti. Just like I said, momi mankati, abukala kuo bayno, wole mankate bayoti, makate bayo. Barrow did not do anything right by Gambian people. Wale kendi things have become so hard for being kasi nkane monster compare. That is bad. That is really bad. You know? And make no mistake, this is not partisan. Nyemmanke kute kafoko ha nata sile we are representing a certain political party. This is the lifeblood of the Gambia. Constitution. Akabke wala nyam. So ninkomba jubele ethics mumoneti imari la conscience hani nibe wo jubel. Bawo morality dao da niya jube. Ike fan jubel ha esa jube constitutional provisional setara larim bankola kuoka But at the end of the day, you use a moral judgment. Kajube, it a mari. When in the society, there are certain things ni keta molke je coming ko hello lem world. So morality ni nga diamu. It shows us a distinction between good and bad, right or wrong. But na right dawda iko right ale, you take credit. Na ron tatenti ko ha na ron tale, but constitution okote. O constitution o bimbe wala diamuka. O nyanta kake document nati miya lonko. Amanyanka ke baro kundati. Amanyanka ke sise kundati. Amanyanka ke mas kundati. Ture kunda, maron kunda, jaju kunda, wala tem kamara kunda. Nyin kunda kundalu. The constitution should be devoid of all of that. As an entity in tolbe together. Anyantan tolbe la rights all capture for mu Muslim oldi, for mu Christian oldi, for mu mo ninyare oldi, for mu lunjaw yatale. The constitution doesn't know that. It wants to give a dignity to every human soul living on the surface of the earth. You know? So, but the Gambian Kolu, Ndolu, we as a people, we need to be better than this. Nyimolu milia constitution otaya bed kuntung kuntung. They have insulted our intelligence. And on the National Assembly members all, you will see some of them, Milia Lonko, if they love this country and they believe in the principle of democracy and rule of law. Wolam nyentiko baro isanji tangoleke, amanyanka tambi wola. Let them bring out the 2020 draft constitution. Milia Lonko Gambians have invested so much money into it. Oh, kodol manyanka taka tinya wai. So nyen tilimbalia bambalo nyanta kabo Gambia. Gambia la nakaro sembo warata onda Adama Barrow. Nakaro obe dula bele to bare. Birim Adam Barrow nata, it has tripled in so many fold. Because of tilimbalia bambalo. Amanyankake. If you have the audacity to fire somebody at the Brikama Area Council, mimu collectoti among kodo ming account, no, why not you start it from all those bigger thieves? Those bigger thieves, what happened to them? Because today they are whining and dining with Mr. Adama Barrow. Nineka konante aka bill even into our kids. Because your poor collector mimbai, or fanan dingol lelbeji, or fanan be balu no la nyadi. That guy passing will become just like a child who has survived from a rubble bombing in Palestine or in Iraq or in Iran. Wolu maril tenyinala wala mumeke ni wo konante yale bita because wol fama la doku balia obe kale bale kela wala kuokon both in terms of their physical development nin dingola moiti also ila financial growth and ila general well-being for bata jamala lafita batal namiranko God has given us an inalienable right to life, liberty and pursuit of happiness. Jamala lafita niku ya lawati wati. Yeah, ema wo mari damma, ye wo damata, ye wo damale pick. Ye wo select out of the many. And wole kodin din fango damma sunya. Where is the bigger thief? Jane commissioner a bigger corporation or milfo. Ye wol Kenya dile? Did you prosecute them? Did you send them to jail? Ya jamela mo fala ye munekela? Did you prosecute them, send them to jail? No. Instead, you use them as a weapon. Purukana Gambia dingol suppress to try to subvert the will of us. And again, ninga rights ol diamu constitutional, remember, fellow Gambians and friends of the Gambia. We're talking about constitution. Constitutional ma jube ko nyimuna enemilati. Wale akende nala right violator manyankala right kale? Borakoli is a devil. He's an angel of death. He's a mean-spirited person. But notwithstanding, Womala Nyanto Tabulu as a human being, right? And on the constitution, as far as I check, Inyanta Kakew Hadamadonde, Nie Muta within 72 hours, Inyanta either to charge you, Walate Yebula. Why is Borakoli in detention? Ngajele Madi Jobate asabi. And Madi Jobate, you hate him or like him, he's very, very consistent. Other than this flaw, Ngaminja la side, very dingo involved in the Bakar Bajila Padium Alawanson de Jobat, Ama Wola Doron Safe, Amafo. And I had to call him out because he is a very consistent person in our country. But the same, let us come back. This Borakoli. A Jawya telefo Jawya be Danta Dami. But at the end of the day, Borakoli dignity and all humanity, Muteo Talabud. So let them charge him or let them release him to go. A foremandia, but lua, na moral kamo, na constitution, na laws of our country. I walef. Ha muna nebe jongula bulala de, jongula jelle nate yebe bulaja. Ebuke la igo jube, eka sarato le jube ane lua banko la sarte kam. Yes, I totally agree. Gambia is very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Na nyimbanko. A foremandia. And even the monster himself, don't joke with the security of this country. But nyimbanko la security bila tardeta koma. Me alonko jungulal kanaika dunja mol fangbuka kalamuta ebeji. So alonko oton tolman safe? We are not safe. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe in this country. And amanyankake wanyama. Amanyankake. Amanyankake wanyama. So fellow Gambians and friends of the Gambia. Nyunle mufanna te miya lonko nyantaka nyalo ikang. And amanyankake etemu religious leaderity. Walata amanyankake fo etemu civil society organizationality. Walata manyanka ke etemu National Assembly memberity. For etemu marsi tala musolati for ke wolemu o businessman olemu niye banko la kuo bele affect. Andum banko la kuo nabe keren nimman banko la kuo nyin tambende fonka partisan politique nyin dundije ntolbe tulale. Because a meta nyaonya fitino lebe funter. Andum fitino meta na banko kan. Onda Adama Barrow nakaro sifa bele keta. Ye molu nene le so much so that ni funtita ala wulolu milia lonko miye dasa wala mfenyo ay dunge buhu kon. Ha, fenyo e dung ni ko mato. Katung Ismaila Sise o dindingo nying. Aning molu dolo milbe president bala nim president o diamote tolle ka fundene e ko hanida manyem fade. Anyo wulia amantara kerin dunia kon. Yeah. Yankuba Manjan, thank you. Security mantra Gambia. Ndangalong, mobe along, and that's the truth. This is why Berinam Tero Yafo, Inspector General of Police in Kayako Fania Bula White. Fania Bula. Fania Walam Wulia 40. Fania Walam Kakufo Mialong ka manke tonyate ka Gambianol mislead. Walam Faniate. Because Nia for Eko Gambia be secure. Every day and night, ikaje be mol fala hani dinding all innocent babies. They are killing them in the Gambia. Mona omete fani andiba. Olanda hadamado alinga lam fanna. Alinga balun tarola. So that nanyem president nge muta as servants of our country. Na National Assembly members nge muta ka atandiko nyulmun na doku lalenti. Dina nge glorify nke muta kominko alandin ne moiti. Yen bribe yen corrupt ye kuo sifa bedin purun kalela agenda sol fasa nte labankula imari ka fa accident jawala kono wala ten kuran kandi ye muta wala mo divine intervention of God. Divine intervention. Because hadama dingol ni man fere sotono pour ka nyin tonyendiro nyin noto bondi fangol kan. Divine intervention wala kana. Imari katar siri ne one time ila bu ika bungo beja ni tasinya kele ibuka lo muna fango yake. Haramo le bungo nyilo. Tilimbalia wole o bungo nyilo. Fuaro la kodo ila namu kodo miya lonko anyanta kadum fuaro ka ite na te wole sunya yewo lo bungo nyin lum kilinga beka jane ay keke sebu toti. Divine intervention. Divine intervention ol siya bata. Dolu beje accident jawo ise wosoto. Dolu beje sasa sutong ise wosoto. He barini aman sasa de aman fenketeng ina kawakuyat. Divine intervention. God work in so many mysterious ways. Wala rina fuaro la fengo. Fuaro la fengo. Altol milbe siri mansa kunda kona lal hakilo tuwa. Abe dangerous rinne komi mbayol la fengo be nyami. Ni mi makoy. Kana ma ni ma dundiye ku kendodo. Puru aye tol nafa. Kana batara ya way. Yeah, Mr. Konate, I'll do that. I'm going to set up the program, and Ninga will set up the thing. I'll come with that program, because lafta a new program la funtindina maybe probably every either Friday or Saturday to be called the vent. The vent, bekela program ultimi alonko, mena jang nga diamu damanding, nga phone call solta moliela opinion ol sip. Kulu kono anem bunya kono. Bawo Gambia la kuo Gambia mbele nyanta tarla o kuo nyin kono nga kuo nyin diamu amanke mo dantan te milia lon ko itara sirinje nektayol do ko faye ko itolle mu Gambia ti no, they are not Gambia, we are all Gambia as a country or as a people. So won hakilo bakan it's just a matter of time mbe kuol set up la kana jang ka a programo nyin dati ka afomole mbenga Gambia la ko nyin diam milialon ko ke kibarol fanal soto milialon intelligent ko lam maybe te mari be Gambia government kono ita kenola whistleblower ti bari ese kibarol futandino molla puru nga diamu puru wolla njurol milialon ko abe keri wo fan o bundal to puru mo jamalia long a manke to be a snitch or a traitor in a country bari o fana mu doku dole te ka jube ko o tamandir nya mimbe kerim bundal to Gambia banko kan puru wol se improve no nyame. So it is very healthy milia lonko to be a whistleblower ka diamu banko la kuonyina ayatare ime fangol tofo, but it would be broadcasted or said by third party individuals. Nyulle mu fannate milia lonko mbe nyanta ka jube. Because in conclusion, memim fola, a constitution on yin diamule, ka juba la kumaya. Because a constitution, aka atemu kumaya rembalde. You know? Because it's a binding on everyone in a state, including ordinary lawmakers and institutions. Constitutional ka ofanam fang. Also, it concerns the structure and operation of the institution, of government, political principles, and the rights of citizens. Now, obey the Amujan. Constitutions are also based on widespread public legitimacy. Near you be public legitimacy. Public. Barite man wo samba woto. Public ye min document ota ya nati ye ako nyeng lafite ye nyene ke mara langoti. Ite ko hani de public o ma longa ka memfo. Bari sanye ye ko kendi mola ya loka nga kono. Fa nya be ka mening ay nasi ya ka mola constitution o dada. Wala mkusi fa nya diti. o mari betalla 𝒘𝒄𝒄𝒏 bala o be min safela je ate kala faydati hani fen ate tallaji because cocaine wala be diamu kan amanke o mari la hakiloti wala ten kuslembang maybe ye dia la fasi so ka pompe o be ku kende nyaadi le safela oto. No wonder ale fen safe mi alonko members of the NPP from man la fal. Because anu yabate nene manke Gambia wai. Anu yabate man sota. Fan Kongo alinga obula Gambia bankoka. Alinga nyeng greediness bula. Fisiru walea bambalo alinga bula. Molu nyanta ka hanyele kafo Adama Baroeke a kanyantale. Je ngeje Gambia janne man fenna fawso e ka samato dum fa a karakile mo be kat bang ni mu fankamati nenete o samata sifa dunna o samato e ka dunna samato amunta ko nin samatol ka abuse soto fam human right organization on nyanta the right of Adama Barola silipaso fam fight la because he samato dum fa anenda do kilimo be bang feran fuari amanta miwot je ite mari na si ko Gambia dingole ko handam fanga maladi atara hani lip sign of fango ibuka fenke no edat bankola legitimacy umu jamality the will of the people walam the draft constitution 2020 ye minkeje is it perfect? Probably not. But is it a good start for the Gambia? Yes, absolutely. Hell yeah. So ni obe oke kamune akendembe deviate la from the popular will of the Gambian people to one crack cocaine head, knucklehead, o Marietta Rasiring. I na draft constitution o bed taya betinya akoi kana wale sambana nyindula. Toilet paper. It means koning Gambia be continue not to have a constitution is better than having a constitution that is very detrimental to the peace, tranquility, and the governance structure of our country. Because it doesn't serve the interests of anybody other than Mr. Adama Barrow. Woman better. So, Ibina Jubela, constitutional jama, fundamental rights, wall aka wall uphold, the social and economic rights, wall fanan the same thing, nyantaka wall be jube, wall be dunnola nyadile. The parliament and legislature, aka wall fanan na kuwal jubele, and the head of state should not have too much excessive power. Wole aken the draft constitution wo billahi nin Gambia no lialo wo ye nafa minke Gambia la. President Bainol as the Director General of Immigration. President Bainola as the Inspector General of Police. All the directors milben na Bangkoka. President Bainola, the Chief of Defense Staff, President Bainola ni me samba National Assembly. President Bainola unabe tala fana inyanta ke vetle at the National Assembly. Nko mune bete atap katambi wala. Gambia dingol muna akende mbuka la fiku sone yare wala. For kuomi ya lonko, it is rather very cumbersome. Wala kuol mili ya lonko, a complicator. Ay tara noring wala tenga ay tara koleare because mo kurundol wala tar lanje ibuka la fi puru kuoli na million Gambians need to have it the easy way. We should be better than this. Gambia la karanale. Gambia la mole million ko ye governance long. Gambia la mole million ko be sirinje. Itole karamo sifa belong. Ye international relation long. Ye good governance long. Democracy, rule of law. Andung ye londo sifa bele soto. But a school dropout fella be more be manipulate la. A school dropout. Adama Barrow. mi ya lon ko ala subject sol bele fel Adama Barrow abe Gambia kela just like coming Barrow kundati Gambian kolo alinga politiko bondi nyin sifal kono Gambia la draft constitution Gambia should be better than this ni molu diamuta nyem political rasmatas kuol dula jamato molu katara steering ye mira kominko ha nyemo opposition o tenente mune a kendinte mira nola ite membe santo koni balunya hani ni be tubabu kundale bi balunya ite ya lonne foika MPP le support wala tem foika political party do le support wo balunya abe larim fanna minna ite wo lonne Gambian kolo why Gambian kolo why wati Gambia Gambia karanali soto ise policy document ol jube ise karan fo ya jube kominko nin kurano le moisa jube abe pempendi kungole kon baraka an karango nafa nyimbe abe ka doyale because of low self-esteem Ima really man believe in what they learn aning ila la balia alala because ibuka balu tonyala Gambian kolo alinga nyinko jube ku nyofe. This thing is not about Adama Barrow. This constitution is about the greater good of our country. Na bankola Cairo, ala tenkungo, ala sabato, na economic infrastructure nyanta lala nyame, nyin constitution ole ka be determine. Je, for fanna danta nyanta ka kendile yewo be bonde, just because of ayatandiko, president manyanka immunity soto bankoka, president nyanta ka ala access declare, ngo, for wala manke islamo ti bang, islamo ko tilingo, ni binala ngalo ye jolle soto, ni be bolaje ngalo ye jolle soto, ni botaje nimbe kitinde la yeson konge kitinde, ni late fanna kiti dulale ya determine, fo e ku kendo kele man ku kendo ke, ala le ba mole ba determine na je, based on ite mariye minke wo dulato. Gambia, what is more difficult than that? Muna na nyim molu be woltale be bondila je. There is nothing quite like integrity, honor, decency, and patriotism in a country. But nitate ye will be bondage, the integrity of civil servants all, and in government opposition holders all. Niye woke, eka mantakundala documento eka kumole feyandi. But why Gambia? Alenga miracle why? Nyimbu bala falati nyimu maloleti. Londo min bebe molubulu. Nko hanibi, moman soto, minka baluno tonyala katonya for president ka faiko. Ntede, as Attorney General of the Gambia, nga jube ko nyim personal nyim manyanka bo. Because make no mistake, Adam Barrow damma manta kela president de Bankoka. What if nim president do nata do? I agree. It's an insult. It's an insult to the collective intelligence of the Gambian people. It is. 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏. We should be better than this. Usta solo ali nyil preach Allah mimbarolto. Ali telling a preach. Adama Barrow altol jamfal. Alman nyanka lala kotenke. Ando nyem fitino meta Gambia banko kan tilimbalia. Moma natin na banko kan fonyin. Sidin jai. Ha? Hadama dingo don dolu. Just like I said. Yeta yela spam jurumi bankoto. Wole fisiata ye woye balua ke hadama dingo. They are waste of farm. Because dingo dolo ibe also to la society kono ka society tora ka ku jawol ke fera jawol dada bawoy tolumman karan imam fahamu imam meche soto imam londo soto. So therefore itolla balunya ka ken nyadi wuliya fo society dundi nyoto ka molu dundi nyoto ka sunya rolu ke ka wuliyal fo just because itol se baluno. Why? Say wala dinding wala fisiata wala si falti why? Ha! Ke wala al hakilot altali spam jurumi bankoto. Wala fisiata din si fado bije ka wol funtindi na nyim bankoka. Ha! Afo koleata walai. Koleata mfambul purukaf. But at the end of the day, nyulle mutonyat. Na bankoka. Mu dantanu. Milia lonko I ferol doyata. Milia lonko. I mu molelte milia lonko. I ning hadamadia nyanto teng. Niye wol mutafang ye katile. Ha! Mbade. Sasise wale mtonyat. Pejele kande. Pare spama jartale ya jurumi bankoto. Dina wo din sifal yeta ye conceive ye ke hadama di walt. You know? Because ya jamela mo falal. Ya jamela mo kurungol. Yeah. Ite wol sambana ye ke fambala. You don't expect anything different. The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Nyamati ala mandarga moment. Ku killing onyeka repeat wati. Amang ku kotado funtindi. You know, ite mari nyanta ka olonne. Wale akende te fuaro mimbesiri. E fanna ku balafe faye. Gambia be alhalo minto onda adam baro banko tinyatale. Nimmoli ya fo amanke politiko te wole be laring bankoto. Ndanga security background sotole. Bari mimbe kerim banko ka manyanka ke kafoko yeke security personnel ti pour ka understand mimbe kering. Bari na bankola maral ka minyanta ka kamfore ya din na bankola. Na bankola internal and territorial integrity a bela tamandir nyakatara maral kangole kon. Ke mo danta mo killing mi alonko sanji tangay wo kele ako amanka nyang hanibi ako no manfa ikono be fala nyaadi le wala na hadama do nene kono te fala fona fata ye kabur banko jurme akono kan wato min wole to afa akono fata. Because near willy killing soto be, e ka fole nga willy killing ninga kemelulo ka fala sebete. O kemelulo nana ta willy killing kemelulo. E ka fo ifa ha ninga another kemelulo. So hada madingolu, it all they are an insatiable being. You know? Scale of preference and opportunity cost in economics. Niye nyindongo soto. Eka nyindongole ngaba. Niye wo soto, eka dole ngaba. Ea do ngaba. Ya ngaba. Ngaba rodoro ngaba kude. At the end of the day, Gambia, wale a kende, we need to reset the dial. Recalibrate, rejuvenate, reorient ourselves. Ka Gambia put on a path to transitional justice. Mia lonko, it will be a good start for Gambia. On that note, Gambians and friends of the Gambia, Namimbe Fojang, Hani Femma regret. Ningale enso si mayala. In 80 years to come, I would have repeated the same thing over and over, just like this, or even way better than this. Because Nine Mutonyat. Alama ale Gambia fasa. Alama mumu la fitaka Gambia jamfa ale mari tenkere. Allow Mari, na collective will as a people of the Gambia, let us prevail over Adam and Barrow Nala Mansakunda. Katun, they are doing this service to country, and they are very, very unpatriotic. Imang bam Gambia kanu katambi telete mimbe jube rola anintolo. On that note, friends of the Gambia, Allah barakabak. This is 𝒂𝒐𝒏 ABC, United States of America. I salute you until I come your way again. Bye-bye.